Aloha, my name is Nancy Kerner, and I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, intuitive, and facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities.
Oh, I'm a model.
Wow, like runway model?
OnlyFans model.
Damn, are you expensive?
The Matrix is a system, Neo.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans.
That system is full of degenerates. When you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of the woke system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to pick up a biology textbook. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on their pronouns that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the dude in the red dress? A dude? Look again. Who is it? That wasn't a woman?
No. It's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you might marry one of them.
What are they?
Transformers. They can move in and out of any gender, regardless of their chromosomes. That means that anyone coming out of the female bathroom is potentially a ladyboy. Inside the Matrix, they can identify.
Hey guys, I apologize. It was not live on Rumble, so I'm going to restart our video of the day because it's really good about the Matrix. So hold on just a moment.
Oh, I'm a model.
Wow, like runway model?
OnlyFans model.
Damn, are you expensive?
The Matrix is a system, Neo.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans.
That system is full of degenerates. When you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of the woke system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to pick up a biology textbook. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on their pronouns that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the dude in the red dress? A dude? Look again. Who is it? That wasn't a woman?
No. It's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you might marry one of them.
What are they?
Transformers. They can move in and out of any gender, regardless of their chromosomes. That means that anyone coming out of the female bathroom is potentially a ladyboy. Inside the Matrix, they can identify as anything, but in reality, it's just delusion.
We have survived by hiding from them, by running from them. But they are at the Diddy parties. They are guarding all the doors while they are touching all the kids, which means that sooner or later, someone is going to have to fight them. Someone. I won't lie to you here. Every single man or woman who has stood their ground, everyone who has fought this agenda got canceled. But where they have failed, you will succeed.
What?
I've seen an agent identify as a concrete wall. Men have emptied entire clips at them and hit nothing but air. Yet their strength and their speed are still based in a world that is built on rules. Because of that, They will never be as strong or as fast as you can be. What are you
Aloha, everyone. Welcome. My name's Nancy Kerner, and this is Allison. I think she's got some challenges with Rumble streaming live.
Yes,
What's
they
going on,
are. I
Allison?
thought I'd let you go ahead and do whatever you prefer right now, or I can, because I need
Yeah.
to get Rumble squared away. It's not cooperating today, so I'm gonna go fix that real fast and be right back, and I'll let you know when I get it done.
Okay, just wave at me in the background when you've got it done until I see you and give you a nod. Thank you so much. Aloha, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you see the miracles happening all around us? Oh my gosh, we have a packed show today to share with you how people in the media are beginning to backpedal and to look for who they can blame. It's very fascinating. Now, I'm talking about people who are, some of them are accepting responsibility as the Democrat Party. Others are, still going to blame other people, like their leaders. So we've got all that coming up for you. It's so good to see you. Oh my goodness. Aloha, Margie Friedman. Hey, it's been a long time since we were in Hawaii on Tailani Beach. My goodness, a blast from the past. I love it. Good to see you. And also, we have over here on Facebook, we have Tammy. Aloha, Tammy. And Trina. My goodness, it's just a little party here today. I hope that you're all feeling really good today. And oh, we have Anthony. Anthony, I have a card on my couch for you going out into the mail today. I actually tried to go send it yesterday, and my husband said, "Hey, the post offices are closed." Allison, were you waving at me? I'm not sure. Okay. So, Bud over on Rumble from Pittsburgh, it's good to see you. Aloha, Belinda RN, a very courageous nurse who said, "No, thank you, I'm not getting it," and brought her voice. She says, "Aloha, everyone. Just want to say hi. I am in need of a Nancy Kerner show fix." These shows help me as much as they help you because I get to hear your feedback. And so, aloha, the Crystal Lady in Canada and her woundness in Canada. And her woundness says, "Aloha all," and I second the motion. Belinda, greetings from Vancouver, Canada. This is so exciting for Canada as well. Our brothers and sisters up there have been under horrific health lockdowns. They can't get all the products that we can get in the United States. Now, they also have the same issue in the food department, though. Actually, I think RFK actually said the United States has certain dyes and toxins in Fruit Loops, and you go to Canada and they don't have it in there. So I don't know. All I know is this food system, this financial system, the whole list of corruption is way too long to go over here. Yet I am looking forward to shining a light on some of that truth. I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to Patrick. He wrote to me and he watches the show and he loves it. And he says, you can go 2 hours, 3 hours. That's okay with me. I wish you'd go live, 3 times a week, but I get it. It's a lot. It is a lot. And I appreciate your sweet, kind words, Patrick. They really landed in my heart. And all of you who send me messages, you have no idea how challenging it can be to keep coming on and keep holding the vision, because after all, we are all a mirror of what our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings, and emotions are. And for the most part, those of you who have been awake and have processed all this information, you get it. You get it. You've seen enough time go by that you're not attached to dates. And yet at the same time, it's important to know what is coming. And it's almost hopeless to try and wake up people who just refuse to see the truth. And so did I put that up there? I apologize. I've got to get out of there. There we go. And Anthony, let me find you again. Pardon me, I'm playing with the buttons, and you know how dangerous I can be with buttons. There we are. Okay. So, it's the most exciting time to be alive in this movement, this revolution, this great awakening that's been going on for decades. And it's time for disclosure on everything to come through. Many of you are aware that it is a ticking, the calendar is ticking away, the time is ticking away, which is irrelevant. All we can do is be present right here and manage our own egos. Ego is edging God out. If you don't believe in God and you believe in good, then use that word. I needed to replace that word in 1988 because I didn't know if there was a God. I prayed when I hit bottom. I said, if there is a God, please show me. And from that moment forward, that surrender, that simple surrender, and letting go of my addiction and going into recovery where we practice taking a look at our resentments, we look at our fears, we look at our trauma from the past, and we take steps to heal it. I've been saying for a long time now that I believe that America, not only America, Canada, I mean, you just look at the social media and you'll see heads exploding right now. In fact, heads being shaved right now, women declaring not to have sex with men anymore. These people are giving their power away. And so what we do is we take our power back. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so for you and I, we really are breaking from the chains and the shackles of fear, of shame, of being guilted, of being outcast, of being called dumb and deplorables and garbage. And you know what? I don't take any of that personally. I think it's a fascinating experiment to watch, though, because the most powerful people who are leading our country behind the scenes, all these that I admire, they practice this. They don't give fear, shame, guilt, remorse, any power. They power up in the moment. They put on the armor of God, protection and love, just like you do, just like I do, and Allison does every day. And then they step into that power and they say, what can I control? What changes can I make? And knowing that those changes are in front of us, it's look in the mirror. This is the only person I can change. There used to be a statement about one thing is it's inevitable is taxes and something else. Well, you know what? That's going bye-bye. Hi, Allison. Do you have a report for us?
I have an unfortunate report because we somehow the codes didn't match up. It's not cooperating. And when I try to reconnect it, it says, yeah, but that was supposed to be back here, and we're not going to acknowledge that. Long story short, we'll have to upload it to Rumble because I don't know how, unless I recreate a whole nother show and you're already in the middle of it. So, it's like we'll just have to, Rumble is not functioning for whatever reason right now. I don't know what else to do.
Can you drop the Facebook link? Because they're watching in Facebook. Drop the Facebook and the YouTube links over in Rumble and let them know what's going on. And I'll continue chatting with our friends until you come back. Or did you have a different solution?
I absolutely will. I'll put there because they can watch it on X or
okay,
Facebook,
all right,
and YouTube as well. So I will do my best. Just wanted to give you an update.
Beautiful.
And what you were saying, what I was trying to pop in initially was, you were saying it's like it's death and taxes. It's you can count on it.
Well, the death of the ego is on the table. for you and I who woke up in 2021 2020 after the election, we went to bed at night and we thought we had a winner, even though we were seeing some anomalies in the numbers. And then we woke up and found out that they declared Joe Biden president, or it took more days or whatever it did. Joe Biden had all these extra votes. Well, I'll tell you what, the Democrats are looking to see where those extra tens of millions of votes that Joe Biden got in 2020, where are those? How come Kamala didn't get those votes? How come there were so many less voters? They're scratching their heads trying to figure it out. Well, we know because we saw Dinesh D'Souza's video, and we've seen all that we've seen. There's way too much to go back over and rehash. Allison is messaging like a crazy woman, and I keep getting these pop-ups. I don't know if you can hear them. I'm really grateful for her and that she is working through that. So this is the precipice. This is the end of the ego controlling the world, as many people might be afraid that Donald Trump's going to be a dictator and a controller. I put my trust in Spirit, and Spirit has, shown me this man for the last 45 years. And I didn't like everything about him. I didn't like The Apprentice, yet now I see that it must have been part of the plan to show that he is a no BS businessman, and he's not afraid to call out people. And if he's not afraid to call out people, then he can call out the deep state cabal that has completely brainwashed our loved ones, our friends, our family, our children. There is too much insanity going on out there in the other universe that I don't reside in. Yet my husband and I did watch a bunch of, quick videos on people just losing their minds. One teacher was just removed from his job in Chino, California, because a kid came in wearing a Trump hat and he called security. He said, "We can't have that in my classroom. I don't care if it gets me effing fired. Take it off," just out over the top. Women shaving their heads and saying they're not going to have sex with men anymore. My goodness, talk about giving your power away. This is insanity. And yet at the same time, I give grace and kudos for my friends who haven't been awake, who are starting to move. They're watching, they're saying, this is crazy. They're going into the ocean to get rejuvenated and to go within because they're distraught, they're hurt. And maybe we can all hold the consciousness of and prayer of, may they see the truth and may the truth set them free. And I don't want personally anybody to beat themselves up and say, oh my gosh, how could I have been so fooled? How could I have been so blind? Yet we all go there. It's called a defining moment. When we wake up that day and we see that the mainstream media was part of the lying, Mossad, CIA controlled deep state government telling you what you should think. I remember when the wokeness started going into play, and I was on a trip with friends of mine, and I had a friend reach out to me who facilitated circles in Canada and who I had mentored. And she asked me, what do you think of this scenario? And somebody in the circle of women was saying, I need to be called by him, by my pronouns and all of that business. And I said, well, I can't tell you what you ought to do. What I can say is that when you allow one person to come into your circle who you've never met before and take the power of the circle from you facilitating your agenda and your rituals, healing practices, exercises, etc., when you give them the power, then you lose the ability to be able to be the leader. The leader must stand firm on the principles and the standards of the circle or agreements of the circle. And so that's why it's important for me to not allow others to come into my circles, retreats, or groups and try and take over the group, and for people to take that power away from the facilitator against the agenda. Well, these last 4 years are very similar to that, because we thought, oh my gosh, if they could steal an election, what else can they do? Well, they can manipulate the stock market. They could create wars. They could put people in a state of division and temporary insanity by telling them not to go to Thanksgiving with their family. Say no. Don't have anything to do with them. I even saw Jesse Waters comment last night that his mother didn't invite him. She says, oh, there's just not enough room at the table. My goodness, I am so grateful that I'm not living through that personally with my sons and my husband. We may have our differences. They might not have a clue what I'm talking about, yet we have a really solid foundation as a family. And I want that to spread to everyone else's family after this is over. We have to stay vigilant. It's we're the leaders of the new free world, right? Whether it's you're leading your family or you're being responsible for your health and your food choices, you are the relationship manager. And so that's where it's important to identify the ego. The ego wants to be right. It wants to have the last word. It wants to dip and control into emotions as a way to control people. Narcissism comes from the ego. It's all about me. And that's what we're seeing. It's all about me. It's not about the country voted for Trump because these people have common sense. Trump voters, right? Common sense. We were able to see what was exposed over the last 4 years and maybe 36 years for me. Slowly, we were able to see the inside job of 9/11. We were able to identify that the United States Federal Reserve is an illegal corporation run from England, set up in England. We were able to see that the IRS was an extension of that Federal Reserve to punish people who didn't get in line, who didn't pay taxes, that are illegal. We get to see the truth that this Washington, D.C. Illegal corporation was not part of the United States. It was foreign. And we need to protect our country, foreign and domestic. We need our restored republic, the foundation of the Constitution, which people just think that's just old. We don't need that. It is what I believe in as a sensitive, empath, a compassionate woman who chooses love over fear in my relationships. I choose joy, not fake joy, real bliss, real empathy. It's up to those of us who are sweeping our own inner porch to recognize that these people have been emotionally traumatized by the same people that they put all their faith and trust in. The education system, just another brainwashing place for people to memorize. The medical system, just another place to be able to control your baby from birth at a family or a doctor wellness checkup. This is not okay with me. I am standing here alongside you because this is the greatest moment in the history of humankind where the people are speaking up to clean out all the dangerous toxins, chemicals in our air, food, water, and in our brains. I want to say, let's detox the brain. Let's open that pineal gland. I love it that RFK saying we're going to help clean out the pineal gland. Carlita said, you can clean mine out. I'm okay with that. And by the way, just, while Allison still is working on this, I'm not sure. Oh, pardon me. Maybe I got a love note. Do you have an update, Allison?
I have posted the Facebook and the other links on YouTube and even your website is doing it live. However, Rumble just wasn't going to cooperate today, and I will upload the full broadcast there. And I didn't completely run the Scotty Martin version, so I wasn't sure if you wanted to continue with that or just put that link in the description. And we have a little bit of LifeWave to share as well.
Okay, sound off in the chat. Do you want to see the Scotty Martin from the beginning? Shall we show that now? We know that some of you are, well, now we're watching on YouTube
and Facebook and the x.com, your page there, or on your website, nancykerner.com, under the shows.
Okay, great. Did you post over in the Rumble chat, or
No,
is that dead? That's
It's
dead. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for doing that. And let's just go ahead and move on to, you can include the Scotty Marr links in the show links, right? And then just let's move on to what you have there ready to go for a clip. How does that sound?
I will. I wanted to share this one on LifeWave first, and then I'll dive into the EBS. Is that okay?
That's great. And thank you, everyone, for your patience. We love you. So glad you're here. We'll get this show going.
I am just, there's so much. It's unfortunate, but we're going to make it through it and make the best of it. So here we go. Let's get your LifeWave going here. This is a great one.
Before I could do 5 miles or, a light jog or anything and not have problems. But once the knee problems started, they would just like seize up. And what it felt like was like wooden hockey pucks inside of where my kneecaps are. Even though I wanted to move, I couldn't move. It was frustrating, but at the same time, it was scary. And when you go to the doctors, what they're talking about is surgery. And I'm like, oh, no, not yet another surgery. And knowing all about the knee surgeries where they might take, they might not take, it's not forever, it's not guaranteed. And I was like, no, there's got to be a better way, which is why I was looking at the stem cells. The first couple of days, what I felt was a strengthening in my knees to where I couldn't really stand for long without feeling that I just described. Now I was able to stand for longer without getting that feeling. Now I was attempting to walk a little more.
Okay. I love the LifeWave for knees. That I've had so many of the people we've been helping just elated over the fact that they can actually feel a difference. And it's not, we can't make any absolute promises. I just know that it's helped so many people get around even making plans to do the knee replacement whole business. I helped my sister do that, and that's a major thing. It can take a long time, and it's worked for her. I'm happy for her. I only wish we could have introduced this LifeWave patches ahead of time, but you know what? Hindsight's 2020, and it's going to help any and everyone who's got stem cells help everything. Now, this is an article Nancy had wanted me to share on the alert emergency broadcast system activation is imminent. Major military operation to secure and get it underway. Let me make sure this is okay. Urgent alert. The emergency broadcast system is on the verge of activation. A high-stakes military operation led by President Trump is about to expose deep-rooted corruption and restore order across America. Prepare for potential unrest. Stay informed as the full truth unfolds. EBS activation. America prepares for unprecedented action. America stands on the brink of history. The EBS will soon cut through media lies, delivering truth straight to every American. This mobilization isn't just a warning, it's a declaration that the time to reclaim America has come. Once activated, every citizen will hear the uncensored truth, unveiling what's been hidden behind closed doors. Martial law ready to secure the nation. With EBS activation approaching, martial law martial law is prepared to maintain security. This decisive step, ordered by President Trump, is a necessary shield for American lives. Expect a fortified military presence in key cities to protect against chaos. This isn't overreach, it's a stand to safeguard Americans in turbulent times. Martial law is temporary but crucial, allowing law enforcement to act decisively. Law of war. Section 11.3 and 11.4 ground this operation. This mission is anchored in the Law of War Manual, specifically sections 11.3 and 11.4. These sections provide the legal framework for reclaiming America. Section 11.3 signifies the end of occupation, while 11.4 confirms military authority against forces threatening our nation. This isn't arbitrary, it's lawful action to protect American sovereignty. Space Force and Special Ops ready to execute. Behind the scenes, Space Force and Special Ops are mobilized. Space Force intelligence capabilities monitor threats, coordinating with ground forces to ensure a swift, precise response. High-value targets are under strict surveillance. They cannot escape justice. With EBS activation, these forces will act decisively. Public unrest expected. Prepare for coordinated resistance. When EBS goes live, critical arrests will follow, starting with names like Podesta. Expect organized riots designed to disrupt, not grassroots protests. Military forces are positioned to respond to any attempts at violent upheaval, and while peaceful assembly is respected, violence will face immediate action. Division among citizens, staying strong amidst lies. Some Americans, manipulated by propaganda, may not grasp the necessity of this mission, but patriots across the country know that's what's at stake. Our unity is our strength. I can't say that enough. Our unity is our strength, and those who see the truth must stand firm. For the operation is a battle for America's soul. Trump's leadership steadfast in action. Under President Trump, America is taking a powerful stand. EBS activation signals his commitment to the people and his duty to defend the nation. Every decision reflects loyalty to the American people and the mission to secure our future. This operation is not for political gain. It's rooted in loyalty to the nation and its ideals. Prepare for truth and reclamation. The days ahead will reveal the faces behind corruption. Arrests will happen, and those who betrayed America will face justice. This is a journey of truth and freedom. Patriots, stay strong, stand with our Constitution, and trust the process. Final call. Stand firm as America transforms. The EBS activation is a signal that action has begun. This isn't just about arrests or broadcasts. It's a reclamation of American values. The path is uncharted, but necessary. Brace yourselves as revelations emerge and history unfolds. The mission to reclaim our nation is here. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I want to thank Dar for sending that to me last night. I think it's a great reminder that we are still in the rollout. And Allison, I had to laugh. I have another screen that rumbles on, and my screen went black, and all that was on there was Q.
Well, you know, Spirit knows when to throw those things up, I guess, huh?
I guess so. Thank you, Q, for whatever reason. So thank you, Allison. I'll let you regroup and get ready for your next video. So good. And if you're on Facebook, I apparently cannot talk to you on Facebook in here in my controls. So Belinda and Tammy, it'll be up to you guys to do any posting on Facebook on my behalf. So yes, Belinda, we're not on Rumble. And we've come to really love Rumble.
I can take care of them. No worries, Hen.
Thank you. We love Rumble. It's the first free speech video platform other than like BitChute. Rumble has been wonderful. And so welcome if you're watching on YouTube from the Nancy Kerner Show too. We have a lot to go over, as we've said before. And before she shares that video, I do want to mention some of you, I know Belinda and others have watched The Enemy Within. My husband and I watched it, and then I watched it a second time. Patrick Byrne has been in the truther, patriot, whatever community you want to call it. He is a whistleblower. He was working undercover for the government before he realized that he was set up for the Russian collusion with a woman that they told him to make friends with. And it turned out into a big quagmire. And thank God, this man was so brilliant and so in tune. And he had to strategize how, when he realized that who was talking to him above him was Strzok. And I can't, I'm drawing a blank on their names now. We know them so well, that he was being set up by the top. And he was able to twist and wiggle and manage his escape from them and start working with the good senators who were on investigative committees who believed what he was saying. General Flynn believed what he was saying. And they've done this wonderful documentary. And I hope that you will watch it. It's $5, 3 episodes, 2.5, almost 3 hours, I think. It is so good. And these documentaries are the ones that help wake people up. And so it begins with us to wake up, to watch the information, to see if it lands in your heart. He was told to set up a meeting and bribe Hillary for, I don't know how many millions it was, 5 million or something. So he was setting up Hillary because Obama had a plan for 28 years of the presidency, and they called it Operation Snow Globe. And all they have to do is shake the globe, put the heat on Hillary if she starts straying outside of their plan and thinking that she's somebody more important than they are. And then they would put her back in place, replace her with Michelle Obama. Their plan was, only evil people can do this against the American people and have no conscience about it. It is horrific what has been done to him. And my goodness, he had a journey through cancer many times, dozens and dozens of operations for cancer. This man is a fighter. And I can't wait for med beds. So many people are talking about med beds and rolling them out, and in 50 hospitals around the United States, they're in place. They are training people. And I can't wait. I have somebody I love very much who really needs a med bed. And I'm holding your loved ones too. Maybe it's you who's waiting for a med bed. These advanced technologies have been suppressed and held from us. And with Donald Trump and the white hats and JFK Jr. being alive, being a part of this, how many Kennedys are alive? How many children and grandchildren are there really? All of this had to be protected. The family needed to be protected from the public because of who they are. And many of you follow my Telegram channel, and you have seen these videos and documentaries, and it's phenomenal. And yet the world can't handle all this information at once. So it needs to come out slowly. For some of these documentaries now, you can just pull the Band-Aid off and get the RV going. And we have some more information on that, but I'm going to stop chatting now, and we're going to watch somebody who I started following in 2015 when I was breaking off from the media and seeing that they weren't reporting the truth. And that's one of my heroes, and that's Dan Bongino. So here he is.
They have no power anymore. We're in charge now. You don't believe me? Listen to him. We were making fun of Donald Trump for having thrown away his ground game and doing some weird stuff online. We thought that they were idiots. It turned out we were the idiots. We woke up in a body bag because while we were knocking on doors, they were making these phones into 24-hour-a-day political weapons for themselves. And so we got outflanked, outplayed, outbeat by people who told us the whole time that they knew what they were doing.
Yes. Folks, these phones you're looking at right here. Here's my phone, okay? You ever see me looking over? That's my phone right now. You notice I have Rumble Premium. I actually a subscriber myself. And no, it's not free for me. I gotta pay. But Rumble Premium, because I don't like the mid-roll ads in my show, so I put the Rumble.
Okay. So isn't that a great self-reflection? Now, I've felt for a long time that Van Jones was working for the White Hats personally, and we will see who was and who wasn't. Okay, so while Allison's loading up the next video to watch, because I know we've lost some time, and your time is precious. Aloha, Deanne. It's so great to see you. Oh, my goodness. Okay, and Tammy says, I can't wait for the med beds for friends and family in desperate need. I told them to hold on. Yes, hold on. And I feel it. You know, I go by my intuition and my feeling. I feel that we are going to see our loved ones who need them get that help that they need. So let's just be the powerful co-creators we are and speak into existence that these come sooner than later. So it's important that all of us continue one day at a time. I was telling you about the program that I got in. One day at a time. Sometimes that means one divine, precious, sacred moment at a time. And that's what it means to live in the now, to live in the present. What happened 10 minutes ago? Oh, that's so 10 minutes ago, right? So here we are. Are you ready, Allison?
Messaging weapons for us, because you can watch my show on your tablet, on your computer. You don't need a cable box. You can sling it on. You got a smart. Yeah, you don't. You're correct, but we do. Watch this.
How do Democrats, and frankly, how does legacy media need to change the way it thinks about getting information? I mean, a lot of the voters who went out and voted for Donald Trump, that so many people are wondering what happened here, they're not watching, frankly, this show. They're not reading the New York Times. They're not consuming media that way. And the Trump campaign found those voters where they live. So how do Democrats need to change the way they communicate to voters, if you think that's part of the problem?
For sure. I mean, I think all of us have to come to grips with legacy media is just not as important as it thinks it is.
No, you're not. You're not. You're not important at all. Matter of fact, you got your asses handed to you in this election. If you were important, you wouldn't have gotten your asses handed to you in this election. Ass right in the hand. See the ass? Here's the ass. Woo, hear that? Right in there. Hand it on the ass.
Oh my goodness, Dan. Some people can't handle Dan, yet having 4 brothers and 2 sons, I can handle the guy's sense of humor. I may not like the way he trashes liberals because they're my friends too. I love you. I just want you to know that you have been duped just like we were. Some of us just found the truth sooner than later. And it's time that everyone do a little personal self-examination. Why did you buy into their lies? What did you want to what did you want to see happen? Women are terrified that under Trump, they're not going to be able to get the health treatment that they want. That's because they've heard rumblings of change in the medical system, changes in the education system. These changes are what I've been waiting decades to see happen and gave up hope on them happening. So I just focused on what I could do to stay out of the matrix taxation by having in-home based small businesses, primarily because I love my children. I love my home in the forest. I wanted to spend my time there, not commuting to corporate America, where people are in this egotistical game of who has the most sales. And, they don't care about people. They cared about numbers and making money. Nothing wrong with making money. It's the way that we do it. And then the taxes that we're fined penalties on, that's what I call it. We're fined for making money by needing to give them more money. So when you have a small in-home based business, you can have deductions that you wouldn't normally have. So my husband stayed in the mainstream corporate America, and I didn't. I got out and started creating on my own because my family was my number one priority. So this is very, very important. Aloha, Rich. So glad to see you. In fact, brother, I've been thinking about you ever since I heard that your dog has cancer. And so I wanted to ask you if you've looked into ivermectin or fenbendazole or an alternative healing solution for your dog. You can get ivermectin in a paste and rub it on their belly. As far as the dosage, perhaps you can ask people in our chat on Telegram. And maybe you've already got your solutions planned out. This is why I want to go to holistic veterinarians, because we can recognize that cancer is a form of parasites that have invaded the body. Cancer are cells, the tissues that have gone wonky, and these cells need to be treated. And there's so much hope that I have for your beloved critter. Having a dog now for the first time after 24 years, I really want to find a holistic veterinarian. Carla and I talk about that a lot. It's so important. Anthony, what is Dr. Wallach? I'm not sure. Is that somebody who actually talks about dosing for ivermectin, et cetera? Give us a little more there, please, brother. We love you, appreciate you. So we have another clip, and when you're ready, roll it, Allison.
I will say this. I'm glad everybody's having a sense of optimism, because the reality is we have no choice, because we're here now. Donald J. Trump is going to be the 47th president of the United States of America, like it or not. And we all hope for the best for this country. That's all we can do. But don't y'all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy? They're not calling him a fascist? I mean, damn, on Monday.
They're not calling him anything.
They can't. On Monday.
Have the same exact concerns as every other American. You just completely missed it. Watch this.
I will say this. I'm glad everybody's having a sense of optimism, because the reality is we have no choice, because we're here now. Donald J. Trump is going to be the 47th president of the United States of America, like it or not. And we all hope for the best for this country. That's all we can do. But don't y'all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy? They're not calling him a fascist? I mean, damn, on Monday.
They're not calling him anything.
On Monday, they was just calling him that. I would think that, if you really believe that, then somebody's speech would be about how America effed up and how things are about to be really bad.
He's
the most powerful man in the world now.
Well, it just makes you wonder how much of it did they really believe, or how much of it was just politics.
Now, Morgan, also, I know.
Folks, the red pilling on this question is happening everywhere. How do I explain this better? Hold on. Let me take a little time out. I don't want to screw this up, because this is really critical. If you are a leftist and you genuinely believe, try for a second and revert to like Neanderthal thinking, correct? Like a lot of the far left does. And in your head, you really believe this guy is a Nazi and a fascist. In other words, he's going to get into office, imprison, kill people, and do all this horrible, awful stuff. Then I don't understand why you're so muted in your response after getting your ass handed to you on Tuesday. I don't understand. It's almost like you were faking it. And the answer is because you were. Folks, ask any of your friends who live in liberal cities. I've got a lot of friends who are up in New York. I'm from New York. They cannot believe how quiet it is. There's no Occupy Wall Street. There's no pink hats, you know what I mean? The screamers aren't in the street. Sir isn't in the street. Sir! None of this is happening.
Oh my goodness. All right. We have Anthony says that he's a veterinarian. His career was with Marlin Perkins back in the day. So he's talking about this doctor who is on YouTube. There you go. If you want to jot that down. There's no way I would allow a doctor, a veterinarian, to treat my animal with traditional, methodologies. We know too much now, right? Hopefully everybody watching this knows. I wouldn't send my friend to see a cancer doctor, but that's not my kuleana. It's up to each person to decide for themselves. So we have another clip. We're just doing this media spin and what's going on, and if they're reflecting and taking a look within, or if they're blaming others, because you know what? I watched a bunch of videos with my husband this morning, and when the election was stolen, yes, stolen in 2020, we didn't come out and attack you. I didn't. I just was in such disbelief. And, so some people just are emotional and project their anger and their discomfort and spew that onto others, right? Publicly. How well are these TikTok videos going to live? I think a lot of people who shave their heads, once the disclosure come out, are going to be sitting there with shaved heads feeling like a fool. Yet, it's not that I want people to feel like a fool. I want people to wake up and see that what we are doing, what we are creating, especially with Big Pharma and the medical system, by calling them out and making them held accountable and arresting them and putting them through their trials. We want a better life for our children where we don't have to worry about the food that they're eating, or our grandchildren and what they're being fed by their parents, unbeknownst to them, that are totally messing their hormones up. Their children, little girls, are starting puberty at 5 years old. This is not normal. We need to protect the children. And if it's not about the children, carrying on the legacy in a healthy world, then what hope would we have? I have plenty of hope. And here's another video when you're ready, Allison, to go ahead and share.
I'm going to speak some hard truths to my friends in the Democratic Party. This is not Joe Biden's fault. It's not Kamala Harris's fault. It's not Barack Obama's fault. It is the fault of the Democratic Party in not knowing how to communicate effectively to voters. We are not the party of common sense, which is what the message that voters sent to us. For a number of reasons. We don't know how to speak to voters. When we address Latino, and language has meaning. When we address Latino voters as Latinx, for instance, because that's the politically correct thing to do. It makes them think that we don't even live on the same planet as they do. When we are too afraid to say that, hey, college kids, if you're trashing a campus at Columbia University because you're unhappy about some sort of policy and you're taking over a university, and you're trashing it and preventing other students from learning, that is unacceptable. But we're so worried about alienating one or another cohort in our coalition that we don't know what to say when normal people look at that and say, wait a second, I send my kids to college so they can learn, not so that they can burn buildings and trash lawns, right? And so on and so forth. When we put pronouns after names and say she, her, as opposed to saying, you know what, if I call you by the wrong pronoun, call me out. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. But stop with the virtue signaling and just speak to people like they're normal. There's nothing I'm going to say to Michael that I'm not going to say to you, that I'm not going to say to somebody else. I speak the same language to everybody. But that's not what Democrats do. We constantly try to parse out different ways of speaking to different cohorts because our focus groups or our polling shows that so-and-so appeals to such and such. That's not how normal people think. It's not common sense. And we need to start being the party of common sense again. Joe Biden.
Now, I'm going to play the whole thing.
Sorry, Jovan, you're not going to play the whole thing, but oh my gosh, That's cool. Stand up, take a look at what's going on internally, and help people that you have been feeding all these lies to find their footing. My goodness, I still hear fight, 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 resist, resist, resist. You guys who resist like crazy are going to regret it later. You're going to love what Trump brings to you. He's going to bring you health, prosperity, and freedom of speech. It's not that I don't like people who are woke or tranny or whatever. It's just that our taxpayer dollars have been spent putting that into our children's schools, into their heads, and conditioning them to think that is okay and normal. It is not normal to want to cut up your body and change your sex. Psychological help may be a huge front runner in my book on taking a look within. Yet, if you do want to do that to your body, that's your right. And I stand by everyone having their own rights. The Constitution protects each individual, even though you may think that there won't be medical help for the women. Yeah, I think the most dangerous time we've ever lived in is the past 4 years and before, under a Nazi Operation Paperclip, look it up if you don't know about it, medical system that is poisoning you even worse when you go in for their treatments. That's why you're not going to see chemotherapy. You're not going to see radiation. All of that is archaic and it's BS and it doesn't heal you. It's a big money-making scam and they're all in on it and it's no more. So with that, let's go ahead to, I think that Allison said she had the Reese report next.
After Osho, a foreigner to this country, used his cult to bus in thousands of homeless people to vote in his favor during a local election, the Federal Election Commission ruled that it did not violate federal election laws. Voter fraud is as old as voting itself, and voting machines have been designed to make fraud easier.
After witnessing election irregularities associated with the 2020 U.S. presidential election, we decided to direct time and resources to Cartel del Sol links to U.S. and global election fraud. It is indisputable. Smartmatic Election Systems was created at the direction of now deceased Venezuelan dictator Hugo Chavez, and its source code, the basis of its operating system, developed jointly by Venezuela's Consejo Nacional Electoral and Smartmatic, was designed to allow election results to be altered without the knowledge of voters and the public.
Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold posted a spreadsheet that listed the password of the state's voting systems. And after she was caught, she said it's not a security threat.
To be very clear, we do not see this as a full security threat to the state. This is not a security threat.
This is not the first time that your office has made mistakes that have damaged voters' confidence in our elections. In 2022, your office sent out mailers to 30,000 non-citizens inviting them to register to vote. They, of course, are not eligible to register to vote. That same year, your office used Colorado's ballot tracking system to send messages to specific Coloradans encouraging them to vote when, in fact, they had already voted, causing confusion that had to be cleaned up by the county clerks. And now this leak of the voting system passwords. Given your office's repeated errors that have damaged confidence in our elections, which you say is paramount, will you resign?
Absolutely not, Kyle.
And now we are seeing videos of voting machine glitches. At this year's DEF CON conference in August, hackers found security gaps in voting equipment, but it hasn't been fixed. But voting machine fraud is old news. The new election fraud tool is non-citizen voters. Catholic Charities have not only been managing the illegal border crossings, they have been registering them to vote. Groups of non-citizens have been seen early voting with the help of NGO handlers. The Texas elections chief told poll workers to give ballots to people who show non-citizen IDs. And while the Supreme Court decided to allow Virginia to remove non-citizens from voter rolls, the poll workers are being instructed to submit a special form for them to vote, which will tie results up for another week after Election Day.
Signed up to work this November 5th election poll here in the county that I live in Iowa. I wanted to see firsthand for myself if illegal immigrants are actually being allowed to vote. This is what we've been instructed. Even if they say that they're a U.S. citizen, and I still question it, any of us question it, they still are allowed to vote. They will be given this. This is a provisional ballot. Basically, what that means is you still get to vote. The voting stops at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, however many of these provisional ballots that we have, those are accumulated, and then they are all shoved in an envelope together, sealed, and then they go somewhere else. They have from November 5th through November 12th to bring information to verify that they're actually a U.S. citizen. Let me repeat that. They have until 12 p.m. on November 12th to present the proper identification to prove that they're a U.S. citizen.
Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
This is why we needed to have the 2024 election, because we need to see and fix 2020. That's where it went out of control. And being able to hang on to these illegal votes is a crime against our country. So yes, I'm looking forward to the thousands of indictments unsealed and unlocked, and bringing these people to justice and having them have their trial. And there's way too much evidence. Do any of you believe that 2020 was a free and fair election? I'd say, hell no, it wasn't. We watched it. Yet if you were watching from mainstream media, then you would believe it too. We have been duped. And we have, oh yeah, Tammy says 2020 is not over yet. Absolutely. We're playing through the disclosure right now so that people can see it. And of course, it's hard to watch your loved ones and your friends suffer right now. Yet one famous quote is, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. And that's why in January of 2021, when they didn't stop in the Senate and Congress to verify the electoral vote, I just collapsed and cried my eyes out. And then I asked Spirit, should I, once I found Charlie Ward and all of them who were showing us the real inauguration versus the fake one, you know, it wasn't even, there weren't even 100 people in Washington, D.C. I have a question for everyone that I haven't heard anybody answer yet. We know, first of all, that we're watching a pantomime, a movie. These people who are watching on the news and the media, if they're not working with the White Hats, then they have been replaced with actors from Central Casting. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, and many but don't believe it, including my closest loved ones. Yet there's Culver City Studios and there's also Tyler Perry Studios, and those press briefings aren't held in the White House. The White House or in Congress, that has all been a cleanup job over these last years. So when Trump is scheduled to meet with Biden tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow on the 13th, where are they going to meet? They're either going to meet in a place that is set up to arrest Biden, or we're going to have another phony interview that's staged somewhere. I'm hoping there's a trigger with that tomorrow. I don't know if there will be. Allison, I just want to ask you, I know we're going to watch Cash next. After that, do you have the Mark Z still? Because we do want to play that afterwards. So, Jet, that's my question. Where is this meeting going to take place with the actor Joe Biden, right? The person playing him. So it's going to be like, I think we're going to be like over these next days and weeks to see what happens, because we know that there's hits on Trump. We know that they want to kill him. And we don't know how this is going to unfold, because the White Hats have kept their cards close to their vest. Yet we do know the ultimate outcome is the arrests. And that's what we're all waiting with bated breath sometimes. We need to keep breathing through it, right? One of my favorite people, one of my heroes is Kash Patel. He is so smart. He is so wise. If you haven't read his book, Government Gangsters, where he documented everything that happened behind the scenes and all the atrocities, plus the J6 and how Nancy Pelosi withheld the National Guard from coming in to help. That was such a setup. Anyways, Kash Patel. Go ahead and play it, Allison, when you're ready. Thank you.
You need a 24/7 declassification office, whatever you want to call it. Transparency, truth, whatever, I don't care. Sits in the White House, reports directly to you, and you take incoming from the United States of America. I want JFK. I want the 9/11 files. I want this. I want that. All the FBI, and this is a tool, this is something we didn't cover. What the deep state uses the most to cover up their corruption is an illegal application of the classification system. Remember the Lovebirds text from, this is a beauty, the Lovebirds text from FBI, DOJ land, Russiagate, Strzok and Page were texting each other. They were running the Russiagate investigation against Trump. They were the head of the counterintelligence unit at the FBI, and they're having an extramarital affair together. Can't make this stuff up. They're sending each other texts about how much they hate Trump and are going to create an insurance policy to stop Trump. Then we finally find those text messages. You know what the FBI and DOJ do for like a year? Redact them to congressional investigators and congressional men and women running the oversight of their agency. That's just one example. But it gets even better. Here's the deep state full circle. Just last week, do you know what Strzok and Page received from the Department of Justice?
What?
A $1.5 million payout to settle a lawsuit that Strzok and Page brought for the improper disclosure of their personal text messages on FBI phones. And the DOJ just rewarded them. They broke the law. They broke the chain of command. They broke every regulation there is in the FBI. They weaponized the system of justice against a political target they hated. We found those text messages, and we got them declassified finally in full when I became Deputy Director of National Intelligence. And the world has now seen them, and they can read them. And that's the best form of transparency. That's why I want this 24/7 declassification office. Don't have me regurgitate it to you. Read it. Get the documents, get the files, get the memos. But the deep state came full circle and gave these guys a payday for rigging a presidential election and breaking the law. So now you know what happens. That's step one. Step two, get America the truth. And that's what that office would be for.
Yes, bud, this is getting really good, right? If we can just cut our ego off from dates, etc., and live our lives one day at a time to the best of our ability. I pleaded on last Thursday's show, that I wasn't happy, and I said we need disclosure. We need to stop the suffering of the people who are losing their minds right now. And I know it's very personal for some of my closest friends that we have this disclosure. And so if Allison's setting up Mark Z, I was just so happy and tickled yesterday when we found his video. You can let me know when you have it ready, Allison. That would be great, because Mark Z is actually Okay, thank you. She's got it ready. So Mark Z said on this morning's show that we're not going to play this video from this morning's show, but he said, yes, I am in contact with the Brunson brothers. Yet he didn't say, yes, they are coming out with the case. Yes, they have signed the NDA. We have heard from Jan Halper that that's what's going down and others. And also that, I would think that since he didn't deny it, he didn't say one way or the other. So many of us are really hoping that as SCOTUS has returned to session, whoever SCOTUS is, whoever's left in SCOTUS, because some of those rats have been already dealt with, right? And we do know that we trust Judge Clarence Thomas above all. And he was really hit hard by Joe Biden personally in the 70s. That was making headline news everywhere on all the television stations. And the grilling that Joe Biden did and tried to make him look like a man who was having an affair. And anyways, the SCOTUS cleanup is very, very important. So will they come back into session today and tomorrow reveal that? I believe that SCOTUS has been holding this information, even though we've heard about the Brunson case being ruled on for, I don't know, a year and a half, couple of years, thanks to Phil. And he gave us that hat tip early. So when you start putting all the pieces together, there's nothing to worry about. We know that the white hats have it. We know that the military is the only way. And that's why we talk about the EBS, because it's not going to be Trump who persuades them. And I was listening to Jeremy on one of his live chats or Rumble shows with Patriot Princess, which was really good on Rumble. If you're not following Patriots Rising 1111 on Rumble, check out their last show. Because, I've just lost my thought. What they were talking about, I lost it. Oh, I know what it was. He was painting the vision that, and I encourage you to watch it so you could get it exact, okay? I'm just trying to paraphrase what I recall from this statement. And it was, what if SCOTUS comes back, reveals the Brunson case, sees the riots going on in the 17 cities, and then Trump is put into his rightful place as the president. He has been the commander-in-chief these last 4 years through devolution, devolving the government of the Corporation of America. What if, after all that happens and the cities start to clean up the messes in those 17 cities, we might see DEWs, direct energy weapons, used on certain satanic ritual sites. Washington, D.C., don't be surprised if the White House blows up, because what they were doing under these sites was moving children, and there's tunnels connecting them all over. And it's pretty disgusting. And then what if Trump comes in and says, hey, I know that it's because of me all these riots are happening. I'm going to step away. I'm going to let the military clean this up. And then he walks away for a period of time, a month, 2 months, however long it takes, and then comes back after and announces the restored republic at some point. And then by then, everyone will be on the same page. The EBS would have happened. People have been able to see the corruption, identify the real criminals, and see that Trump wasn't the enemy that was within. It wasn't the Democrat people who were the enemy. It was the deep state pulling the strings on the media, the medical, the corporations, everything. And until we can see this happen and a complete financial, I don't want to call it a collapse, because I think that what they're trying to do is not have the stock market completely collapse where people would really lose their minds, but to gently land this plane, reveal that we have all the gold, reveal the BRICS nations are legitimate, that we are returning to a commodity-based currency backed by gold, depending on the country that people are in. Iraq is just taking off, and they have denounced the Federal Reserve. They've said we're not doing business with the Federal Reserve. We're doing business with the United States Treasury. These are clues that Militiaman and Mark Z and others drop for us to see. That is dead. The Federal Reserve is dead. That corporation, I've been waiting 36 years to see it go bye-bye. Bye-bye. So with that, we're going to hear from Mark Z himself.
Where should I start? Should I start with, I did finally get a bond update. It wasn't as fun or as great or as cool as I was hoping for. It was still pretty cool. But he said, look, I can't tell you anything anymore. I can just tell you, you won't be asking me these stupid questions within the next 9 days. Didn't mean it was going that long. Didn't mean it was tomorrow. I just said, look, you're going to stop asking me all these stupid questions in the next 9 days. I don't know what to take from that one. I would like to think that it means somewhere between now and then they get paid, we get paid, everybody gets paid. But he was very clear that I will not have any questions on that front. Certainly fits within much of the time zone or time level we are hearing. We do have some fun stuff coming in Iraq. Tim Fu, lots of snowflakes are melting down. You know, it's not really that they're melting down, Tim Fu. They're addicted to outrage. They don't know what to do without it. I mean, they fabricate it. They make it up. They virtue signal. They have a need to be outraged by everything, to the point where they'll sacrifice life, relationships, jobs because they need to be outraged. Think about it. When you're outraged, there's an adrenaline rush. There's a self-righteous high when you're outraged. They're addicted to the endorphins of outrage. That's my belief with them. Very much believe it. Drama, outrage, they're addicted. They need counseling. All right, let's get to it. Because could they be hiding stuff right here, right in front of our very noses? Planning, we will start the census next Thursday. The Ministry of Interior announces the date of the start of the curfew, which it is excluded from because they will be going around counting people. Ministry of Planning announced the start of implementing the population census as of next Thursday. Usually when they say next Thursday, they are talking about the very next one coming. So this Thursday, we know they have a 3-day week in Parliament, a 3-day break as everybody travels for the census. They do have strict curfews to make certain that nobody gets counted twice. In other words, they don't want somebody going this house and that house. What do you think of that? I mean, all right, you have to go back to almost like the times of Christ for census. You got to go back to here. You got to go back to Bethlehem. You got to go here. You got to go get counted. That's what they're doing there. But wouldn't it be a neat time? They got everybody taken care of. They got everybody squared away. It'd be a great time to pull one. That's what I kept thinking as I was reading this one. Do we have to wait for the census? Well, we know the census will be done. They just won't release the information until December 10th, I believe. If I remember the stories correctly. Boy, it seems like a key date. Mark Gray, I agree with you. I think he's going to make this happen with that stability. He's certainly working hard. Certainly working hard for it. So we've got the census coming up, getting ready to have, including personal status, former parliament member will resume work next Saturday to pass laws. They are taking a break, right? They're taking a 3-day break this week. Parliamentary Finance discusses with a group of resident doctors the expansion of admission to the study of the board. They're even looking at helping to finance. Now, what does this mean? This one, for me, is just something that they've needed to do in the U.S. for a long time. Iraq, in order to help supply more doctors to better service the people, want to expand admissions to study of the board. In other words, they want to take qualified medical people, open it up, expand it, increase the number of doctors organically within their own country. They also want to look at increasing the medical schools. I think this is just brilliant. course, they might need to train him for med beds. That's what I really want. Missing all you guys' fun comments. I want to go back to your fun comments. All right. We'll stop with the news banner. That's really the only news I have this evening. One of many bond folks finally responding, saying, hey, look, you're not going to be asking any more of these silly, dumb questions in 9 days. Just relax. Within. He was very specific. Within. So I don't think that means we're waiting. But at least it gives me some idea.
Okay. 9 days. That was yesterday. He posted that. And he's, so the 20th, between now and the 20th, we will be, living one day at a time as usual, right? And we will watch this start to unfold because the election was a trigger, not in the way that you might think. It's like green light is go. Here we go. Things are rolling out. I trust the plan. I trust spirit. It's gone magnificently for us to get educated over these last 4 years, thanks to, people like Mark Z. And so, yeah, people are getting excited. Yay. And so at the same time, we do need to stay grounded and please hold space for all of those who are suffering. All people deserve to have their health restored. Everyone does who is of good heart. I'm not talking about the criminals and the cabal. They can go fishing for all I care. This is the most epic time to be wide awake. And you're sitting here, part of the new historical events that you are going to tell your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, or you're just going to be with friends who are going to say, remember when we went through that challenging 4 years? We kept thinking the RV was going to happen any moment. The people of Iraq would be vindicated and that we would be vindicated because we had the nerve to tell people that this was a movie, that Joe Biden was gone. We had the nerve to speak our truth before we got shut down, before friends started leaving in droves. And it was the most painful time and the most wide awakening time of truth I've ever experienced. I have no words to share with you the gratitude that I have. And Allison, I'm thinking you're done with all the videos that I poured over to you. So just give me a facial in the back. Okay.
Yeah,
Hi.
even. No, I'm all good. We're whole. We got everything in that we intended, and the Scotty will just be on the in the description link. And when I upload the Rumble, I might even be able to get that worked in there. So we'll see what we can do. Otherwise, aloha.
Thank you so much, Allison. She was definitely hopping like a cat on a hot tin roof back there through all these things. And we're so grateful for her. Watch the Scotty Marr because there's a part in the beginning and there's a part in the end. And the beginning is a dubbed Matrix scene. It's really funny. If you don't take it personally, if they make fun of trans, and I apologize on behalf of anybody who may be offended, yet I'm going to just tell you that I think it's funny. And that's one thing that's gone away is humor. Thank goodness for Greg Gutfeld and all the comedians who dared to come out of the shadows when we were seeing that comedy was gone. And so they came out and made a comeback. And I love good humor. I love to laugh. In fact, that's my nature. And that's why this is so challenging sometimes, because I choose peace, love, laughter, harmony, and living a life of bliss. It begins here. And I do look forward to all of you who have been expressing an interest in meeting me in Hawaii. I think Allison already has a place where you can sign up to receive my emails, because as soon as I can, I'm going to be leaving. And I don't know that day yet. Let's see how things unfold. But it's very important to me, return to the islands. I haven't been there since I came back in 2019, 2020. 2020 was when my dad passed away on Easter weekend, and then my brother 2 months later from an overdose. And so Hawaii is a place where you don't have to worry about being, perfect. You don't have to worry about being judged. You are welcomed into the circle. And my objective and my purpose and my mission is to help people open their hearts and heal in the moment fast. And Hawaii is the fastest healing retreat experience I can think of, because we're disconnected from the media. We're disconnected from, not to say you can't look at your phone and have media. We just don't watch television there. There's no time to watch television. We're too busy experiencing the aina, the land, the fresh fruits and vegetables, the fresh fish, and the wild dolphins, the spinner dolphins. We go out on a boat, and the humpback whales. It's amazing. They start showing up now, and then they leave. The humpback whales will leave in March. And so the winter time is the best time to come and have the full-blown experience. And one of the most amazing sights I ever saw was seeing a humpback whale come really close to shore. And Ann and I were sitting there watching it overhead, looking down onto the water from our point of view. And I saw the dolphins going wild around this humpback whale. They were like, just because spinner dolphins are different than regular dolphins. They fly out of the water. And it was like they were having a little party, a little celebration. I was like, what is going on? And then a few minutes later, a baby whale came up and took its first breath. So this is where we are just our egos are just blown out, and our hearts are open. And we fall in love with everyone who's in the retreats together, whether you choose to have your own place to stay, or if you choose to be in one of the homes that I rent to host these events at. I haven't seen anybody come to one of these retreats and complain about it afterwards and say, I didn't get my money's worth. It is fantastic. And I, for one, am all about the healing, the relationships, because relationships are the foundation of our existence. And when we create a foundation of trust, where you can trust your facilitator, like me, you can trust the other participants like you. And then we all have our individual and collective experience. And yes, the world is going through grieving right now for those of the people who aren't happy with the outcome of the election. Many of us have already gone through the grieving process. And so when we reunite in Hawaii, there's an opportunity to let go of any pain or trauma that you still may be carrying. And it's beautiful because we need a witness. It's like in 12-step recovery, when I got there, we wrote our resentments, who we were resentful for, and we recognized that by holding on to the resentments, we were harming ourselves more. And so it doesn't mean that you need to tolerate people, places, and things that you can't control. It simply means that you know your point of power is within you, and it's your choice to live in high drama, pain, suffering, toxic gossip about people all the time, and start reprogramming your mind to recognize that you are the most powerful person in your world. And when you take your power back, that's why I called it You Are a Powerful Woman's Retreat. When I started them in 2003 in my home, was because I saw a nation that was succumbing to victimhood. And that's what we're watching right now. People are feeling like they're a victim of what these world events are. And people are going to be so happy that whatever has transpired, that they will see eventually most people will come back to common sense. It's going to take a lot of soul searching healers, whether it's a spiritual healer or a relationship healer who wants the best for you. It's not like we spend all this time rehashing our old dramas. This is so quick. We heal quickly. It's so beautiful, and I'm humble, grateful, and honored to facilitate these retreats because I wanted to get out of the seminars, because for 36 years I've been in seminar work, empowerment work, taking, spiritual work, and yet they were held indoors in hard chairs, hard to sit on, uncomfortable. And so I'm a woman of comfort. I want to be in soft, cushy furniture or outside by the ocean, having circles on the beach, burying the problems from the past, blessing and releasing them. We need a witness to do that. And then we're set free. When we can open ourselves to hear the voice of spirit within us, to trust our own intuition instead of discount it as woo-woo. Our bodies are electrical, made up mostly of water. That's why the X patches work. That's why the Wave Watch works. That's why Isogenics works. And I'm looking forward to Carla completing her 30-day commitment with Isogenics with her husband. She sent me a picture of her getting into some pants she didn't zip up a couple weeks ago, and she's holding on, and she's going to wait until her full 30 days go into effect. The reason that they joined Isogenics was because her husband had some heart issues and they were going to the doctors. And so my personal plea to people is, why would you go back into the system that is not to be trusted with your health? Why not take an opportunity to heal your own body with nutraceuticals? It's very important that we take our power back in every way that they have stolen it from us. And together we will rise in that power. And it's not a power over people. It's a power within that vibrates, that permeates. And I can see your auras light up. Your electrical system lights up when you're feeling good. And it took me hitting my knees 65 pounds heavier than I am now before I surrendered to Isogenics in 2003 for the first time and came crawling back after going off, came crawling back in 2014 and haven't looked back at all. So congratulations to you, Carlita. And that's what Wendy calls her, and Brad. Well, it sounds like it's time to wrap. All I want to say is, the day for me begins with gratitude and ends in gratitude. And so I am so grateful that you're here, where we begin on the Prosperity Playground with love. We give love in the middle and we end with love, because love is the most powerful force in the universe. Love will heal all wounds, and your prayers and your connection and asking for help, asking to feel that love. People think it's woo-woo. It works. It works. It works. It works. And it doesn't work if you don't work it, which means that's 12-step lingo. You choose what you want to focus on today and begin with gratitude if you choose to. I am grateful that you're here. Thank you for hanging in there during this challenging technological show that we had. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. If there's anything to report, Allison and I will come back together, and we will do a live broadcast if we need to. So expect a miracle, right? We love you. You have a beautiful day. Create a beautiful day, and join me on Telegram. That's where we just let the news feed, I'm always posting, and let yourself know that all is well. Be at peace. And continue to, have self-respect, self-love for yourself. And then you can pass that on and send it out to others. Take care. Aloha.
Today there's things disappearing that I worked for all my life. I dread having to start again with just my children and my wife. I wanna thank some lucky stars for trying to bring our greatness back today. 'Cause the flag used to stand for freedom, and now they're trying to take that away. We're gonna make America great again. We're gonna set our country free from the destruction by the party, taking freedoms away from me. And I'll proudly stand up next to Trump and support him here today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt he'll fix this land. God bless Trump and the USA.
We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. We will make America great again.
With the fine folks of Minnesota to the great peeps of Tennessee, along with the strong down in Texas, from sea to shining sea, from the suffering Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. We can bring back the American dream, and it's time we stand and say, we're gonna make America great again. We're gonna keep our country free, and we're going to help all those who fought to give that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to Trump and support him here today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt he loves this land. God bless Trump and the USA.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find me at nancykerner.com on social media. And remember the truth about you. You are a powerful and prosperous person.
Say thank you, thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, oh grateful, I'm so grateful, so I want to say thank you for this day.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LifeWave's phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and the ability to heal itself. Let's take a look at why this is important on a cellular level. For example, a number of our patch products help counteract free radicals, oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. When the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are neutralized naturally. To find out more, contact your distributor. LifeWave. Live long. live well.